Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the Marysville Board of Education regular business meeting. Today is April 16th. We call to order at 6:01 p.m. Roll call, please.
Mr. Keller?
Here.
Ms. Mabry?
Here.
Ms. McIntosh?
Here.
Ms. Shepherd?
Here.
Mr. Ferguson?
Here. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We now have a recommendation to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
I'll motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Keller,
A second.
second by Ms. Mabry. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Ms. Mabry?
Yes.
Ms. McIntosh?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Ferguson?
Yes, the agenda is approved. Now I will turn over to Dr. Howard, Dr. Howard or Treasurer Johnson to introduce our next guest.
I can do the next one, I guess. So we have Scott Brown from the State Auditor's Office here. He is here to present the State Audit Award, which we received for our fiscal year 25 audit that was just completed. And it's the second year in a row that we've received that award.
Yes, thank you.
Here we go. I appreciate a few moments of your time this evening to celebrate another job well done. My name is Scott Brown, and I serve Auditor of State Keith Faber as his Central Ohio liaison to you. That means I serve as your customer service representative. That really allows me to navigate our 800-member staff in a manner that your challenges can be addressed as quickly as possible. Auditor Faber asked that I attend on his behalf this evening to present the Auditor of State Award to the Marysville Exempted Village School District again this year. Our office oversees nearly 6,000 clients statewide and conducts 4,200 audits annually. This award places your organization in the top 10% of those 4,200 engagements. The Auditor of State Award is presented to local governments and school districts upon the completion of a financial audit that meet the following criteria defined as a clean audit report. The entity must file financial reports with the Auditor's Office by a statutory due date without extension via the Hinkle system and in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. The audit report does not contain any findings for recovery, material citations, material weaknesses, significant deficiencies, uniform guidance findings, or other question costs. Breaking through all the audit speak, as I like to say, Auditor Faber would like to recognize the board, the administration, and the finance department that have done an outstanding job watching over every dollar. This award represents all of your staff and employees' hard work as they work constantly to attain accounting excellence. What this truly means is across your entire organization, you have the people and the processes in place that understand fiscal accountability. We especially want to recognize Treasurer Todd Johnson for his outstanding leadership and commitment to protecting the finances of your organization. So on behalf of Auditor of State Keith Faber, I would like to present the Marysville Exempted Village School District with the 2025 Auditor of State Award. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Congratulations, Treasurer Johnson. Next, I recognize Dr. Howard for our Good Apple recipients recognition.
Yes, thank you very much, Board. As you likely know, every April we sort of reflect back as a district. Certainly grateful for the many volunteers, community partners that help our district thrive, knowing full well that we're much better when we work within the community on behalf of our students. And certainly there are things that gets accomplished in the building that could not happen without outstanding service from so many individuals. And so something that we have started as a district a few years ago is an award called the Good Apple Award. And so every building is identifying one individual. We, as a board office, have also identified one good apple. And I would like to recognize Tiffany Wood as our Good Apple Award winner. And I just want to share, Tiffany has been an outstanding partner to the Marysville Exempted Village School District in a variety of meaningful ways. As a parent, she's been actively involved in the Boost organizations, helping to provide opportunities and resources for our students that extend beyond what the district alone can offer. In her professional role at Richwood Bank, Tiffany, alongside her colleagues, has played an instrumental role in supporting our students' career exploration efforts by providing internship opportunities for those interested in finance. She's also worked closely with our high school business department, including participating in National Business Honor Society recognition events and collaborating to make Richwood Bank a featured stop during our Uptown Business Walk experience for students. Tiffany's love for this school community is evident in everything she does. She is a tireless advocate for our students, past, present, and future, and consistently helps us strengthen the connection between our schools and the broader community. Her partnership truly helps move our district forward in responding to the needs and aspirations of those we serve. Tiffany, thank you so much. And with that, I would like to invite Ms. Karen Wells up on behalf of Mini Monarch Academy.
Okay, I think I did right. All right, Arlene Porter is the Good Apple Award winner from Mini Monarch Academy, and Arlene was integral in really getting our program set up. She worked all summer to make sure that that transition was easier for our students and our staff. She was assisted in setting up classrooms, she organized materials and created signage. In addition, she has partnered with the Marysville Library to coordinate a story time schedule for our preschoolers, and we have the Bookmobile who come twice a month to our school. Arlene is always willing to lend a hand whenever needed. She is often seen at arrival each day supporting our youngest learners, and her dedication, initiative, and positive presence makes truly a Good Apple Award winner. And now Edgewood Pam, right? Yep. Oh, there you are. I'm right here. Okay.
Okay, our nomination, or the nomination from Edgewood Elementary, is Sarah Empsch. Sarah has been an incredible asset to Edgewood, making a lasting and meaningful impact on our school community over the past 5 years. During the time her daughter has been a student here, Sarah has consistently gone above and beyond in her support of both students and staff. She generously volunteers her time in a variety of ways, from supporting school-wide events like Multicultural Day and the Mumpkin fundraiser to assisting teachers behind the scenes. Sarah is always willing to help with making copies, sending in classroom materials, and stepping in whenever she is needed. Her continued support of our fourth grade team in particular has made a significant difference, helping ensure that daily classroom operations run smoothly. Her positivity, reliability, and unwavering commitment to Edgewood truly embody the spirit of the Good Apple Award. We are incredibly grateful for Sarah's contributions and the care she shows for our entire school community. Thank you. And now Kristen Jones from Mill Valley.
Okay, Mill Valley's nominee this year is Megan Schludecker. Megan has been a consistent sub and volunteer at Mill Valley for years. She's had 5 kids go through the building. She is dependable, always shows up, ready to do what's best for students. Even when her duties as a sub are fulfilled, she's always willing to help in other areas in the building, whether it be a special ed classroom, in the office, lunch duty, recess, anywhere that additional help is needed. The staff and students love having her in the building and appreciate her willingness to show up every day and help. We could not function as a building without her and the help that she provides each and every day. Megan always jumps in, even on short notice, and is always ready to help. Megan is also an active member of our PTO, where she goes above and beyond to help support fundraisers, create wonderful experiences for our students, and provides our staff with support and other things behind the scenes. Thank you so much for all that you do, Megan. Next up is Nathan.
Good evening. I'm Katie Vanskoik, principal at Naven. Our Good Apple recipient is not able to be here this evening. However, it is our pet grandma, Omi, and AKA Chris Kravanek. Chris is Clark Jenkins' grandmother, a former Naven student, and Mrs. Nichols worked with Clark for many years, and Omi reached out this year to see if she could pay it forward by coming in to work with the children at Naven currently each week. She comes in twice a week without fail to work on reading fluency with our 4th grade students. Her consistent hard work is evident in their growth. She even came on our field trip and bought/wrapped a new book for each of her students at Christmas. She's beloved by students and staff alike. And Naven set some pretty lofty goals in our work plan this year, and we're really excited by all of the parent support, but especially Omi. Reading fluency is key to comprehension, and because of volunteers like Chris Kravanek, or Grandma and Omi, we're able to accomplish those goals, so we're grateful to her at Naven. And now for Jessica Parthmore from Raymond.
All right. Our Good Apple Award winner is, hold on, I gotta get my phone out so I can read it, is Emily Schmidt. She has been an outstanding volunteer for Raymond Elementary for over 5 years. She's been more than willing to take on our sign out in front and making sure that all of our building events, our PTO events are advertised and visible. When she's in the building, she is positive, interacting with our students, kind, helpful to staff. We enjoy seeing her every month when she comes in, and so we are grateful to Emily Schmidt for all that she does for Raymond Elementary. And next up is Jonathan Langhouse from Northwood.
Good evening, everyone. I also have Janet Evers, who is our librarian for Northwood Elementary, here with me tonight. Sarah Rice has gone above and beyond as a volunteer and has truly rooted herself in the success of our school. Tonight is our honor to present the Good Apple Award to a person who embodies the spirit of an impactful volunteer. With PTO events over the years, whether she's leading a project or working behind the scenes, she is almost always accompanied by her family, showing us all what it looks like to make service a family value. While many see Sarah at our big events, some of her most impactful work has happened quietly in the stacks of our school library with Mrs. Evers. For years, Sarah has been a tremendous help, dedicated to the essential task of meticulous shelving to ensure students can always find their next favorite story, labeling new books so they are ready for kids to read, and being a book fair rock star, prepping beforehand and helping students during. Sarah is quite simply a person who cares deeply about the kids in the Northwood community. Her presence has eased the workload of our staff and brightened the days of our students for years. Sarah, your positive impact is woven into the very fabric of Northwood Elementary. And while things may be changing with your son going to Creekview, please know this: we are incredibly hopeful that you will stay connected to us moving forward. You will always have a place here with us at Northwood Elementary. Thank you, Sarah. I'd like to invite Mr. Ryan Ferriman from Creekview Intermediate up to the mic.
Good evening. My paper might not be there. It's my honor tonight to recognize Stephanie Smith as the Good Apple recipient at Creekview. Stephanie leads our Blessings in a Backpack initiative, and she's done that this year and in previous years. If you're not familiar, the Blessings in a Backpack initiative provides meals for students over the weekends. Weekends can be a source of food insecurity for some of our students, and her work remedies that. The students she serves not only gain nutritious meals over the weekend, but a sense of hope, safety, and belonging, knowing that their community cares enough to take care of them outside of school hours. Stephanie is deserving of this award and embodies the spirit of the Good Apple Award. Thank you.
Find mine. There it is. I'm Heidi Laparo. I'm the principal at Bunsold Middle School, and our Good Apple recipient is Dante Yano. And he was an invaluable, I should say, because he was our school navigator, but has since changed paths, but was such an asset to Bunsold Middle School in his role as our school navigator. He is deeply committed to supporting our students who need some additional guidance and stability, equipping them with the skills and confidence necessary to succeed both academically and personally. He has a remarkable ability to build meaningful relationships, foster strong sense of trust, safety, and belonging among our students that he served. His calm demeanor, flexibility, and unwavering commitment to student well-being allow him to navigate complex situations with both professionalism and compassion. He's always responded thoughtfully to challenges, advocates effectively for students and families, and consistently approaches his work with empathy, patience, and integrity. He's exceptional at his work with families, serving as a trusted, dependable partner in children's education. And through his steady presence and positive influence, he has strengthened the culture and support at Bunsold Middle School. He truly embodies what a good apple is, and we are sad that he is no longer with us, but so happy that we had time with him. So thank you, Dante. Yeah. Next up, I believe, is Scott Bennett from ECHS.
I'm going to be recognizing Adam Hodnicek this evening. And Adam, I'm going to start by apologizing for not bringing you flowers. I didn't know that was a thing, so my bad on that. I owe you one bouquet of flowers. It is with great enthusiasm that Marysville STEM Early College High School nominates Adam Hodnicek of the Union County Foundation for this year's Good Apple Award. Adam has made a lasting and meaningful impact on our school community through his time, expertise, and genuine commitment to our students. Adam has served as a class speaker on multiple occasions, bringing real-world insight and authentic learning experiences into our classrooms. He has also been an active participant in STEM Solutions, where he engages directly with students to help them connect their learning to community needs and career pathways. In addition, Adam partners with our seniors during Scholarship Morning, providing guidance, encouragement, and support as they navigate post-secondary opportunities and financial planning. Beyond these formal roles, Adam is simply a great presence in the building. He builds relationships with students and staff, models professionalism, and demonstrates a sincere belief in the potential of every learner. His contributions consistently strengthen our school family and reflect the spirit of partnership that the Good Apple Award is designed to recognize. For his dedication, generosity, and positive influence on Marysville STEM Early College High School, I am proud to nominate Adam Hodnicek for the Good Apple Award. Next up is my favorite high school principal, Mr. Kenny Chafin.
I love it.
Okay, I think it's appropriate we have some of our students here with us to present this final one, presented to Mr. Bill Keck, who could not be here this evening. But I told our students just a few minutes ago when I greeted them on the way in that them being here is first class through and through. And it speaks volumes about the FFA Ag program, but it also ties directly back to the leadership that Mr. Keck gave in that program for 33 years teaching at Marysville High School. And he's done a lot of things. I'm going to read some of those things off now. But as the Ag Department Chair, Mr. Keck grew the Marysville program to serve roughly 350 students annually, maintaining an FFA membership of 160 to 190 students. Thanks to his commitment to quality programming and our students, the Marysville FFA became a top 10 chapter nationally and a model of excellence finalist. Mr. Keck's influence extended far beyond that, though, as well. He also was a part of many different things, including mentoring, cooperating teachers, 30, in fact, over his career. So he definitely paid forward into the profession, and some of those are actually seen in our current teachers in the program with Mrs. Anderson and Mrs. Thompson as well. Ultimately, his unwavering dedication to service did not end when he retired from teaching. He's never been one to take the easy path. He ran for Marysville School Board at a critical time and was elected, and ultimately was nominated and served as president of the school board, guiding our district during some really challenging times. But his leadership from the heart is clear, and he's a constant presence. I would point to our first annual Cowboy Prom that took place last year. Mr. Keck was one of the first people I saw when I showed up. And then I go back to the tornado that hit the Trap Farm out near Raymond, Ohio, many years ago. There were people as far as the eye could see. And there is no doubt in my mind that Mr. Keck not only set the standard and the culture for that to happen, but he recruited, and he was the very first person I saw when I pulled up to help as well. Again, thank you to Mr. Keck. He is a great and very deserving member of this Good Apple Recognition Award, and thank you to his students that showed up to pay homage to him. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations to all of our Good Apple Award recipients. Next, I recognize Dr. Howard for the Employee of the Month.
Thank you, President Ferguson. So this month's Employee of the Month for April is Aaron Hall. Aaron Hall is exceptionally responsive whenever assistance is needed. He always makes himself available for meetings and events that require IT support, showing true commitment and professionalism. His trustworthiness and dependability come through in everything he does, and it's clear he takes great pride in his work. Marysville Schools is lucky to have Aaron. His knowledge, dedication, and the extra care he brings to his work truly makes a difference and helps keep things running smoothly each day. Thank you, Aaron, for all that you contribute to MEBSD. We truly appreciate you. And board, I also just want to add, I don't think this is much of a coincidence, but just this week on Monday, I had an email that came in my inbox that says, among other things, Aaron Hall has truly made a massive impact on our community at MHS. He has been helping with the renovation of our sound system, which made a massive difference in our production this year. The sound at the musical was absolutely incredible. Aaron is to thank for much of that. Also, he has been an incredible mentor to several of our students. I know this is outside of the job duties, but his expertise to guide our tech students has been really inspiring. He even got asked to hand out a diploma to a grad this year. From his first year in the job, we immediately felt a level of graciousness, expertise, and professionalism that is pervasive to all of us. Aaron, on behalf of the entire district, Board of Education, thank you very much for all you do day in and day out.
Thank you, Dr. Howard, and congratulations, Aaron. We do appreciate your work. Next, we have a recommendation to approve the Month of the Military Child Resolution.
I'll make a motion. Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Discussion. I will read the resolution and then I'll hand it off to Dr. Howard. Whereas the Marysville Exempted Village School District is home to many students whose parents or guardians who served or have in the past in the United States Armed Forces, including active duty, reserve, and National Guard components. And whereas these military-connected students face unique challenges, including frequent household moves, parental deployments, and the anxiety of having loved ones in harm's way, yet they consistently demonstrate remarkable resilience, strength, and character. And whereas the Ohio Department of Education has recognized our district's unwavering commitment to these families by awarding our school buildings the Purple Star designation, a distinction reserved for schools that go above and beyond to support the educational and social-emotional needs of military-connected students. And whereas the Marysville Exempted Village School District remains dedicated to expanding opportunities for leadership and service, as evidenced by the official initiation of our Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps, JROTC, program beginning in the 2026-2027 school year. And whereas the month of April is designated nationally as the Month of the Military Child, a time to provide our community the opportunity to recognize the contributions and sacrifices of these students and to thank them for their service alongside their family members. Now, therefore be it resolved that the Marysville Exempted Village School District Board of Education officially recognizes April as the Month of the Military Child, and be it further resolved, we affirm our district's pledge to remain a welcoming, supportive, and inclusive home for all those who serve our nation. Dr. Howard?
Yes, thank you, Board. As you may know, in order to have a designation as the Purple Star School Building, you have to have a military liaison that's a part of the application. These individuals need to go through training and become credentialed to serve in that role. And so they're really instrumental in our district in being able to be designated as Purple Star School District, but most importantly, we want to make sure that we're responding to the needs of these military children. And all these individuals certainly do that. I thought I would share with the board the individuals that are the building military liaisons, and I know several of them are here this evening, so thank you very much. At Edgewood, we have Riley Kaminsk. At Mill Valley, we have Candy Wakely, Ricky Sewell, and Brenda Ward. At Naven, we have Catherine Patrick. Northwood, Amy Aslanier. Raymond, Jessica Parthmore and Alyssa Davis. Creekview Intermediate, Melissa Borjas. Bunsold Middle School, Matthew Fox. Early College High School, Mark Fensel. Marysville High School, Nathan Stackhouse. And at the Mini Monarch Academy, Karen Wells. So I know several of them are here. I thought it'd be appropriate if they'd come up and receive this collectively. And then I also believe Melissa Borjas has a statement that she would like to share as well. So thank you. If you don't mind, please come forward.
So we're going to have Melissa speak, then we're going to vote, and then we'll take our photo together. All right? Thank you.
So my name is Melissa Borjas. I am the liaison at Creekview. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak tonight. During the month of the military child, we want to take a moment to recognize and thank the military-connected students in our school district. Your strength, resilience, and ability to adapt to change inspire our entire community. Many of you have experienced frequent moves, new schools, and time apart from loved ones while they serve our country. Through it all, you continue to show courage, determination, and kindness. We are proud to have you as part of our schools. Thank you for the sacrifices you make and the strength you show every day. Our district appreciates you, supports you, and celebrates you, not just in April, but all year long. We are honored to have you in our classrooms and in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Ms. McIntosh?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Ms. Mabry?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes, the motion is approved. Please wait for us, guys. We'll come and take a picture with you guys together, all right? Thank you. Thank you all. Our next part of the agenda is public participation, and at this time there is no one signed up, so we'll move on to our presentation. I'll recognize Dr. Howard to introduce our high school principals.
Yes, thank you, Board. This evening we have Principals Bennett and Chafin here to talk about extended programs or advanced programming that we have at both Early College High School and Marysville High School. There's a lot of really exciting things that go on, and something we're really proud of are the opportunities available to our kids that I would say reach every area that surrounds curriculum. And so without any further ado, I'd like to turn it over to them and thank them for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Howard. You can turn that on. So we're going to obviously talk about extended programming in Marysville schools, and we're going to kind of do it together. I think in previous years maybe they were separate, but you know, we wanted to present together, and although we do have two high schools, we are all monarchs, and that is very clear, and love working with my favorite principal, actually high school principal, Scott Bennett here. And I'll introduce him here in a second. But the four areas we're going to talk about are advanced placement courses in order, College Credit Plus, High Point programming, and also internships. So when you look at the areas of extended programming, these are but a few of the extended opportunities that we offer in our buildings from a curriculum standpoint and an opportunity standpoint. As has been stated before, so much of what a high school experience comes down to, and really K-12, it comes down to access and opportunities. And those are flags that we try to fly and really work hard to improve both access and opportunities for our students, and it makes a significant difference for them, in particular when you start to look at transcript strength and then also competitive scholarship opportunities as well. And we believe that it's paid off in a really big way. I'm not going to go ahead and read off every single thing, but what I would say is there's definitely overlap between the two buildings in those opportunities. And a great example would be like Memorial Health. We have internship partners with Memorial Health, and we have students in both buildings that are there. And there's a lot of those examples throughout. So we appreciate those partnerships. But jumping into AP, I'm going to kick it off because this is an area that's distinct to MHS. But we've seen a huge growth in terms of both, access, but also we've seen some significant growth in terms of achievement. One metric that we look at and we try to track pretty heavily are the amount of students or the percentage of students with a score of a 3 or higher on AP exams. I mean, essentially, when you look at Ohio and look at the College Board data and what schools will accept and then grant credit, 3 or above, depending on the course, it tends to be between 80 and 88% of schools will accept a 3 or higher. So that's a pretty good benchmark, for us to look at. We dipped a little bit at MHS in 2025, but as you can see, our access has exploded with a 119% increase over a 3-year span, and we're pretty proud of that. And we're still over, the longitudinal trend and the data in terms of that percentage of students with a score of 3 or higher. Also, I think important to note that we now, in last year, had 136 students versus 62 students in 2022 with a 3 or higher on an AP exam. That's pretty significant. College Credit Plus, as you know, is a big part of our district in both buildings. And in particular, there's been a large amount of growth at MHS in College Credit Plus offerings and opportunities. We're now at the point where we have over 30 offerings And that's come, in large part due to support with our central office and our board, and also our teachers being willing to go get credentialed and go back to school so that they can have more preps. And I say that kind of as a joke, but it is more work. But they embrace it because it matters for our kids, and they know that it has a significant difference in their education and opportunities. But as you can see, we've jumped up. I don't have the data for this year. It's obviously pending. But just 3 years ago, we had 884 credits granted, and last year we were well over 2,000. That's a big jump, and we expect to see a jump again this year. And now I'd like to introduce my favorite high school principal, Scott Bennett.
Gotcha. All right, so I want to start by saying, I think one of the things that Ken was talking about as he started off here is that we share a lot of these things between the two campuses, right? And while Ken had the slide on AP, and I'll talk some more about these CCP things, one of the things that Ken and I have had a lot of discussions about this year is being able to have our students be able to go back and forth between campuses and share some of those programs. So you're going to notice some different language now in our student handbook that's going to allow for our students to be able to go back and forth between the two campuses a little bit more to share in those programs, which I think is a huge opportunity for kids. I love having two buildings, and Ken and I work really well together, but we want to have those opportunities for kids to be able to go back and forth and get whatever's going to be best for them. When it comes to ECHS, and we're talking about our College Credit Plus highlights here, you can see the number of students has been continuing to increase. And that obviously is huge for us as an early college. We want to have as many students taking early college classes as we possibly can. This year, 76% of our students that are either juniors or seniors are taking at least one CCP course. So almost 3/4 of our students are taking early college classes right now. You can also see the total number of credits that our students are receiving this year. We're going to be just shy of 3,000 students. 228 students are going to earn just shy of 3,000 credits in CCP classes.
Okay. So as we dig into High Point, I know that I would speak for Mr. Bennett as well to say that we're very fortunate and appreciative to have the partners that we have with Ohio High Point. They have worked with us directly to look at opportunities that are meaningful for our students to expand our programming and do it in a way that is also cost effective, and that's a big point here too. But we've seen, as you can see there, almost 88% increase in High Point campus student enrollment. So that's on High Point's campus from 2022 to 23 to this school year. Our digital media pathway continues to boom. We had 112 students in it in year one, and we're looking at about a 20% increase on paper as it sits right now for the 26-27 school year. And you look at those industry credentials that are offered on site, 25 different, separate industry credentials in our building, and we're continuing to grow, and we want to see all of those programs grow. And also, I know it was mentioned at some point, but the amount of awards that our students have gotten, through programming, through DECA, through HOSA over at Early College High School is really significant and something to be proud of.
So when it comes to our High Point partnership, again, Ken hits the nail on the head there. This is such a unique partnership that we have with High Point. To be able to have them in our building teaching our students is absolutely fantastic. This year, 560 ECHS students are enrolled in a High Point course. That represents 91% of our student population. So just about every single student who attends ECHS has taken at least one CTE course this year. Allied Health remains our largest pathway by far. It's really not even that close. Next year, we're going to be launching our aviation pathway. We're excited about that. I think we've got an interview for an instructor coming up on Monday, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how that goes. If we're looking for areas where we can improve when it comes to our pathway success right now, what we've seen in our demographics is that in that Allied Health pathway, we are almost 80% female. And when you look at our engineering and our IT pathways, we're almost 80% male. So we're looking for some ways right now to be able to get those gender demographics to even out a little bit between those pathways. So a lot of kids in them doing a great job, but there's still some work to be done there.
Okay, as you can see, internships are I would still say in the infancy stage at MHS. That's been a new development. And once again, thank you for the support in that area. I think it's really important for our kids and their opportunities and for our community. And, great schools have permeable walls. They're constantly searching to get industry experts in the building, get their students out to those industry experts to find that lifelong pathway that they're passionate about, but also figure out what it is they don't want to do. There's value in that as well. But we continue to grow in that area. We're still in the infant stage, as I mentioned, and the percentage increases are obviously overblown a little bit because we're starting from scratch. But we're seeing significant growth in both students that are placed in their internships, but also shadowing experiences, and maybe as important as anything, our community partners are growing in a significant way as well.
One of my favorite quotes that I ever heard from Steve Dakin was he used to always tell us that school is a verb and not a noun. It's a thing that our students do. It's not a place that they go to. And I think that internship program really demonstrates that. Being able to get students out of the building, going out to be in the workforce and experience these opportunities is so huge for these students. This year, 70% of our seniors are participating in an internship. We had 94 different internship placements, and in those 94 different internship placements, our students are bringing in about $27,000 of income to themselves this year. So not every internship is a paid internship, but we really appreciate those ones that are, and a great leg up for our students who get to participate in that.
Yeah, to piggyback off of that, that's an area that we're tracking in our building as well. The paid internships definitely they show reciprocity and value, and they're not just giving our kids money to give them money. They're giving them money because they're bringing value to the business, and so we want to continue to track that and grow it. So looking at student tracker data, so that's the NCAA clearinghouse, and basically that's it's a college tracking warehouse that tracks students from specific schools, looks at their persistence from high school matriculating to college, then year 1 to year 2 persistence, year 2 to year 3, and then ultimately to getting a degree. And it's probably the best measurement that we have in high schools today to track that. Approximately 49%, almost half of our students enroll in college during the fall, immediately following graduation. We don't want that number to be 100%. The College for All mantra has killed opportunities in many ways and set a lot of students back. And so we really push skills, and I know that ECHS does as well. But that's our data point for matriculation into that first year, 49%. Among those students that persist to college, 82 to 83% persist to year 2. Now that's a number that's went up for MHS throughout the years and in recent years slightly. It's a pretty strong number when you look at national trends. It's about 7 to 8% above what the national average is. And again, that's persisting from year 1 in college to year 2. And then also we have a mix of data that you see between public and private institutions. Kids that go in-state tend to persist differently than kids that go out of state and are across the country, and that's true in national trends as well. The biggest gap that I will tell you in our data is that when we look at year 3 to year 4, we have a significant dip in our student population, and we're looking at that with our building leadership team at MHS, and we're trying to dig in, and we're coming up with theories, and hopefully we'll have some ideas to present to you at some point in time. That's a big thing.
So again, looking at our national clearinghouse data, our average fall enrollment rate right now is around 73%. So as the students are leaving ECHS, about 73% of them are going on to 2 or 4 year colleges. And our freshman to sophomore rate right now is at 89%. I think that really speaks to the quality of instruction that our students are getting at both MHS and ECHS, that students not only are enrolling, but are being successful and are continuing to go at a rate that is higher than, like Ken said, higher than that national average. The other thing that I was taking a look at here was our success in our CCP courses, and I shared this with Superintendent Howard here earlier this year. For the fall semester 2025, students at ECHS succeeded at a rate of 93.4%. So 93.4% of our students who took a college class passed with an A, B, or C which is significantly ahead of the other schools here in Central Ohio that are participating in CCP. So our students are enrolling early, they're being exceptionally successful. I think a really good indicator, like I said, of what the instruction looks like preparing them for college courses. With that, I believe Ken and I are ready to attempt to answer the questions you guys may have for us.
Thank you both. Open the floor for questions. Ms. Shepard?
That's really incredible data, and it's interesting to hear, especially since I have kids in high school, to kind of see kind of where they fit in with the group that you're speaking about. I'm just curious, since we do have so many kids kind of in and out their junior and senior year, are they still feeling like connected to the school and to their classes, like their class as a whole, like their classmates, or are they starting to kind of get that kind of senioritis vibe and be ready to head out early?
Well, I'll kind of answer for both of us. I think both of us feel like that's an area that we need to continue to work at, that connectivity to their class and to their building. It is a challenge, and it's a challenge across the state. I mean, most high schools ultimately are trying to bring teaching pedagogy up. We're trying to bring more like targeted middle school type instruction up. But as we're doing that, we're bringing college content down as well. And what happens is that they access that, high school, for example, high school credit in middle school, and then, college credit in high school. It does present gaps in schedules at times at the back end of that junior, senior year. And so, like I mentioned before, we're all monarchs, and that's something that's really important for us and the pride in the school, but that's something our building leadership team is tackling as well. So to answer your question, I think that there are sometimes gaps in that area, Leanne, for sure. And we're going to continue to work on it, but we're open to any ideas as well.
I had a question, maybe a few questions. What's, in your guys' opinion, what's the driver between students? It seems like there's a spike in students accessing College Credit Plus and AP courses. Have the offerings expanded that are attracting more students, or can you tell the story? What's the story behind what's driving those numbers up?
So I think there's a couple things involved with that, right? So yes, there are expanded CCP offerings, right? And that's where it starts at. I think both Ken and I do a lot of surveying of our students to find out what it is that they're interested in, what it is that they want to be able to do. And then we have great college partners. We're able to talk with Columbus State and have those discussions with them about how can we bring those things into our building. The other thing I would say is that I think we have some outstanding counselors, and the counselors do a great job of marketing that to our students and getting that information out to them. Students can't sign up for things that they don't know exist, right? And so they do a wonderful job of getting that information out and making sure that our students are well aware of what their opportunities are.
The other thing I would attribute on the AP side, I would point out our teachers. There was an era in high schools where essentially AP teachers tried to weed the garden with summer work. And I'm not speaking about Marysville teachers necessarily, but in other words, yeah, you can be in this AP lit class, but you're going to read Moby Dick and 5 other novels by August 15th. Those types of things. And we've tried to, when we're looking at prereq, what a prerequisite would be to those higher level courses, we're looking at content specific prerequisites. And I think that's where that conversation should live. So in other words, they've been more inviting and opening the doors, and I think that's a big driver too.
Thank you. My second question is for the persistence rate for, I guess, the moving through from high school to college. Are the more successful students the ones that have obtained College Credit Plus courses and AP courses, and so they're kind of a leg up, or is it kind of general across the board, or is there a way to even understand that data?
I think it's really correlated to when you see the percentage of students that are participating in a CCP class or an AP class while they're still in high school. I think a lot of students are not sure when they finish high school whether or not they're going to be able to go on to complete college coursework or not. Being able to have kind of this environment where they have an opportunity to take some chances and experience that and then find success, I think they're a lot more likely at that point then to go on to college. When you've already learned how to study for a college class, how to be successful in a college class while you're in high school, and you've still got your parents there to help you and support you, I think you're a lot more likely at that point then to go into an actual college and continue to be successful.
This is my last question, then I'll open the floor back up. How do we track students who entered a trade pathway from, post high school or enter the workforce directly, and then see what the success in the trade or, the persistence of employment, I guess?
The truth is not well, and that's the honest truth. And it's a challenge for high schools everywhere. We do have surveys. We collect personal email addresses like most high schools, but there's not, I wouldn't say there's a great methodology to do that. We certainly would love for students and encourage them to report back, but we don't really have a method to make that happen, if that makes sense, whereas like the Student Clearinghouse pulls that data for you.
As part of our CTE 26s, it is required for us to track that data, right? So we do have to do those surveys, and that is all part of what we have to do. The issue with it, as Ken was saying, is that that's all self-reported data, right? So we'll send those out to our last known email address for a student and maybe get back 30% response rate. So it's not great data that we have right now, but without having a national organization like the National Student Clearinghouse, it's really tough for us to track right now.
Is there anything the state of Ohio could do from maybe us, we can advocate for a program or a change? Is there anything the state of Ohio could do to help that, or is that still being kind of?
Yeah, I mean, I think that model that the National Student Clearinghouse has is a fantastic model. I'm not sure exactly how that would translate to tracking students going into the workforce, but I think modeling whatever that method would be after the way the National Student Clearinghouse does it would be ideal.
All right, thank you. I open the floor back up to any board members. Questions? Mr. Keller?
I just had a question about the aviation courses. Who's that going to be open to? And is that just like one class? Would there be multiple course offerings, or we don't know yet?
Well, so a lot of that's going to depend on the person that we hire, right? I mean, we got to see what their certifications are and what they're able to do. Right now in our course of studies, we have 8 courses listed. So we plan on, there's an intro, we called it Launching into Aviation, is that freshman year course, and that's kind of the intro where they'll learn about different careers in aviation. We've got some maintenance pieces, we've got some actual ground school where they'd actually be flying. So there's lots of pieces that it can be. It really is going to depend on who that person is that we hire and what they're able to do for us. So this guy on Monday, he's got some promise. So we'll see. I'm hopeful.
Pardon the pun, but we're building the plane as we're flying it. But there is some truth to that. I mean, I think as Scott indicated, getting the instructor that has the qualifications is first and foremost. But I know that there's been cohorts of students that have shown interest in the program, and they're already doing some great things. I know with, you had the industry leaders, Lucas Langhouse, I know, was an MC for that. So students are already diving into this, but hiring instructors is certainly the next step.
Would some of the lower level courses, if you will, be high school and some of the upper level college, or?
Right now, we don't have any college courses associated with it. So we have a couple of courses that we're actually going to run over at Bunsold to get it started. So there's going to be a 7th and 8th grade course that instructor will teach you over there. And then they'll come and the courses that are going to be at ECHS right now are all CTE courses. So they'll all lead different credentials and certifications for students that way.
So my question is geared towards how I saw some figures for the kids that are obtaining their associate's degree prior to graduation, which I think is a phenomenal program. And you had mentioned like the kids that, if they don't know what's available to them, they can't take it. What kind of information is pushed out to parents? Because I would think as a parent, I would want to know that my kid could obtain an associate's degree while in high school, because that is a massive savings, going forward, especially when you're looking at college debt that kids are carrying today. That's not a small figure, and if they could obtain that associate's degree while in high school, if I had children, they wouldn't have a choice. They would be doing that. So how is that communicated? And I know that depends a lot on the parents, and there are a lot of parents who just aren't very involved in their child's education. But what kind of, are there seminars or something for the parents so that they are educated themselves on what is available?
Yes, so there's a couple different ways that we do that, right? When we are first talking to students about coming to ECHS or MHS, that's one of the things that we talk about, right? Is what that 4-year course sequence is going to look like and what those opportunities are going to be. And we absolutely talk about the associate's degree during that. Every year there's also a mandatory CCP night that all students who are going to be taking CCP classes are required to attend. So they come to that and they get information there as well about the associate's degree. I would tell you, I spend more time trying to talk people out of the associate's degree than trying to talk them into it. And here's why. A lot of those courses that are required for the associate's degree don't always transfer to a student's major. So, it's 62 hours, I believe, for the associate's degree, and sometimes it makes more sense for a student to take 62 hours in courses that are actually going to transfer into their 4-year major than it does to just take the courses that are going to get them to that associate's degree. So we've got to have some conversations and educate some families about that, because I think you're right. A lot of families hear, oh, my student can get an associate's degree. Well, then I'm going to force it. They have to get that associate's degree. And I love those parents, right? It's great. But trying to educate them about, let's make sure that we're doing what's best for your student. The associate's degree may be what's best for your kid, but we have to have some of those conversations as well.
Thank you.
Of course.
Well, we'll see you both at graduation, if not beforehand. So thank you both for your time today. Of course. Appreciate it. Well, next, Dr. Howard for the superintendent report.
Thank you, Board. Last month, I provided a graphic that showed for every dollar that's spent in the district, where does that go to? What's it devoted for? And so this month, I thought I would give a quick update on sort of our return on investment, for those dollars. And so what I'd like to share is our performance index, 95.5%. That puts us in the top 20% across all of Ohio's school districts. But you also compare that to our spending per pupil, and we are the 48th lowest spending as far as ranking over the 605 schools across Ohio. This means that our district is more cost effective than 92% of our districts, or of the districts statewide. So the combination of high academic achievement and low per student cost represents a superior return on their investment, or on our investment in our kids. And so this is another way to show the graphic that I showed last month, but you will see that Marysville Schools spends $13,703 per pupil. The state average is $17,609, and that difference is $3,906. And that's the big idea behind here. So as a school district, we want to have high results. That's important. We also want to be fiscally responsible and low cost. It's important that we have a strong return on our investment. And I think we have a really good story to tell here, in that the dollars that are being spent, it's being spent well. And the data, I think, verifies that. Recently, the Columbus Dispatch had an article that looked at performance of schools based on their per pupil expenditures. And Marysville taxpayers are getting results that most districts spending far more have not been able to match. So we're really proud of that. I also wanted to share with you, hot off the press, we have been issued a $50,000 grant from Honda as part of a competitive grant. And this will help us establish a K-4 innovation lab in each one of our elementary schools. The investment brings the Honda way of innovation directly into our classrooms. And so what would this look like? With the design and manufacturing, we'll have 10 new 3D printers. Our students will master the innovation cycles being used. There will be exposure to robotics and coding. There'll be modular kits introduced introducing logic, sensors, and circuitry. And then real-world app solutions. Students won't just be playing with tech, they're going to be designing and 3D printing solutions for real challenges. And so over the next few days, we will share some press release as part of this announcement through Honda. But certainly Honda means a great deal to us here in this region. It goes without saying, but this is a very competitive grant that was out there nationally, and so we're very grateful and excited to have been issued this grant through Honda because it's very competitive. And I know our teaching and learning team worked really hard on this, as well as Dr. Jackson, so I want to give Chris Campbell and his team, as well as Dr. Jackson, kudos. Because you can write the grants and you can create a great plan, but at the end of the day, it goes through a rubric and it has to be awarded. So we're very, very excited for this. And then just a quick tag on here. I had the great pleasure of going to Otterbein University today. There is a global scholars program that encompasses most of the larger Central Ohio schools in our area. And 2 of our students earned their Global Scholars Diploma today. So Alana Fernandez Busto and Emma Wing both earned their diploma, but they also took part in an action project, and they had to share this as part of a fair. And the design of it is that students will go through this. It's a 3-year program. And so it typically would be sophomore students. They would be year 1 global scholars. There's a year 2, right? And then year 3, those that go through it, it's a commitment, but those that go through it will spend a year in high school really coming up with an action project. And so Alana, she did hers on essentially recycling materials and creating artwork out of it. And they actually had an art show at the Houston House, and she's been getting into elementary schools to tout, number 1, recycling, but also the use of materials for art. And then Emma Wing, she did something on culturally educating the educators. It's really neat. She loves Spanish, and so she wanted to learn more about Spanish culture, Hispanic cultures, and she actually provided a building-wide professional development at the high school as part of this, and she's really instrumental in tutoring English language learners. So 2 really impressive kids, and it was a pleasure spending some time with them today. And then this is just a photo of all of the students that are part of that Global Scholars Program. So this would be a lot of year 1 and 2 students, and then we had our 2 year 3. So super proud of them.
Thank you, Dr. Howard. Any questions?
On the Honda grant, you mentioned curriculum and also the materials that they were providing. Would this be embedded into the standard K through 4 where teachers are asked or can leverage this innovation lab, or how does that work, Dr. Howard?
Yeah, so we're still, when you design it and then the application of it, so still working through that. But the idea would be that there would be a STEM lab with the materials in each one of the elementaries, so students could then, or the teachers could rotate their classes through that lab.
No, that's great to see. I know I had an opportunity to go up to Bunswold and see their STEM library and their innovation labs and 3D printing. So I know it's a huge draw, especially to our elementary students.
Any other questions? Thank you, Dr. Howard. Treasurer Johnson.
So I have a presentation regarding the Permanent Improvement Fund. I'm going to get that up here shortly. Thank you. So I'm going to hit on a little bit of the current year and then looking 3 years ahead. So looking at fiscal year 26, so these are still estimates, but we're close to done for the year. Revenues, we're expecting $6.1 million. No state funding for the permanent improvement fund, so this is majority of funding is going to be from real estate taxes, and then you can see the public utility personal property tax is significant as well. We have approximately projecting about $686,000 in TIF revenue this year. That's one item we don't have yet. We'll probably be getting later this month. That other revenue line you can see there, or you might be able to see, $133,000. So we still are still getting pledges from the football stadium from Bruce Daniels and Honda America, $75,000 per year. And then this year as well for the baseball and softball turf, we have a pledge in there from the booster clubs. On the expenditure side, around $6.6 million in estimated expenditures this year. Mechanicals is always one of our largest items. It's a little bit of a catch-all as well, which is part of the reason, but it's also some very expensive items. You're talking windows, HVAC, those kinds of things. Transportation was a little higher than normal this year because we had multiple years kind of all hit at once. And I'll talk a little more about that on the next slide here. Technology and curriculum is always a large item as well. And then you can see athletics was a little larger than normal this year at $751,000, that being because of the baseball and softball turf projects. You see that loan repayment, $460,000 this year. So that's that tax anticipation note that was done to do the football stadium years back. We've got 2 years left to pay on that. Theoretically, I could pay that off today if I wanted to, but the rate that we're getting on that loan is actually lower than the interest rates we're receiving. So you'd technically be losing money to pay it off right now. So unless interest rates change, my intention would be to just keep making the annual payments, and in 2 years it'll be done. So some highlights for the fiscal year 26 projects: the Creekview fire alarm system, a lot of windows at the high school, the band tower, and the baseball and softball turf. Those all fell under the athletic line item. HVAC project at ECHS. So I mentioned that the transportation line was higher than normal. So one, we did the propane fuel island to prepare for propane buses. And we ended up buying 8 buses this year, which is significantly more than normal. We had 2 buses that really would have been last year that kind of held over, and so those came on this year. Then we bought 2 additional buses this year. Then we just recently, as you remember, bought those 4 buses, which are really out of the fiscal year 27 budget, but we pulled the trigger because we were able to save money because those were buses that were returned, or I guess not purchased by another district. So just a way to save some money. The curriculum adoption was math and ELA, and also each year you're going to see CCP of about $100,000. So they're College Credit Plus, great program, but at the same time it is an unfunded mandate. So there's textbooks that we have to buy every year. And then technology, you're always going to see a Chromebook replacement cycle annually. And then another big project this year is our new TVs to replace old projectors in classrooms. So if you see a tech worker, they've been working 12, 14, maybe more hour weeks this week installing all of those TVs across the district. So give them a big thanks when you see them. So looking ahead at some of the bigger budget items, fiscal year 27, next school year, mechanicals, we're projecting to spend $1.9 million. I should note that we've updated our projected expenditures with the HPM numbers. The MHS, Marysville High School HVAC units would be replaced. On the agenda tonight is the MHS theater lighting project, so that's assumed in there, but obviously that's not going to happen until or if it gets approved. And then MHS fire panels, a very big project that we're hoping to start next year as well. And that's not something that they can get all done in one summer, and it's not something they can do while students are in the building, so that's going to carry over. You'll see in fiscal 28 there's a phase 2 of that project as well. Also in fiscal 28, there's a Naven chiller. and then also some additional HVAC unit replacements at the high school. So the big $2 million number there. So this kind of points to, you know, we have a 20-year permanent improvement forecast, and I looked at the idea of updating that and bringing out the years so we would have an additional 20 years, because right now we've got, you know, maybe 10 years left on that. And looking at that number kind of illustrated why, if I did that right now, it wouldn't really be worth the paper that it's printed on, because until we know whether we're going to pass a bond issue or not, there's millions of dollars of expenditures that potentially will or won't come into this PI forecast. And here's a great example of it. That's $2 million for Edgewood superstructure, where there's a lot of building issues where that would need to be, we got walls kind of cracking and things that would need to be fixed. Very large project. If the bond issue passes, that would go away. You know, we would be building a new building and tearing down Edgewood. If the bond issue doesn't pass, then that type of expenditure is probably going to have to happen to repair Edgewood. You would also be looking at the potential of modulars at some point for growth. And you know, right now, deferred maintenance isn't a problem, but if the bond issue fails, you'd end up having some deferred maintenance issues, projects that need to be done, getting pushed out, and those kinds of things. So my plan is to wait and see what happens with the bond issue, and at that point, do a new 20-year forecast at that time. And then fiscal 29 mechanicals, MHS boiler, HVAC controls, so that's a district-wide thing, so the controls for all of our buildings. A chiller at Raymond. Lighting is a big project that we've been planning for. So we'll see, again, there's always some flexibility here, but that would be, oh shoot, what's the new kind of light?
LED lighting.
Thank you. LED lighting across the district, and then more MHS windows that would need replaced. Curriculum, as I mentioned, the CCP, that's going to be up there each year. $250,000 it would be the time for math ELA again, and then science curriculum for fiscal 27. Or I'm sorry, I should note the math ELA is that's a number that's spread out. So there's a 5-year plan, and the expenditure is spread out. You'll see that again on another year. Social studies would be in fiscal 28. And then in 29, as I mentioned, that math ELA payment, and then unified arts and electives. Then looking at technology, student lab desktops, about $60,000 annually. Chromebook replacements, they do 5th and 9th grade, $500,000, and then $350,000 for network switches and wireless. Fiscal 28, again, Chromebooks, and then teacher laptops would be due for replacement. In fiscal 29, so another project that was kind of on the long-term plan is a district phone system is likely going to need to be replaced at that time, and that will be a big project. Camera servers would need to be replaced. So all of our district security cameras, what they're recording has to go somewhere. So there's servers that have to handle all the video that comes from there. The Chromebooks again, and additional servers. Some other large items that don't fit into those categories, the MHS paving project that we just recently approved, that'll take place in fiscal 27. If you look at fiscal 28 and 29, the projection is $1.6 million on school buses. There's a potential for Bunsold and Northwood roof repair / replacement of about $1 million. And then fiscal 29, we would likely be replacing the tennis court surface, about $500,000 projection there. And then big picture, the green flat line there is basically a 4-year projection of revenue. We expect slight increases as real estate values grow, but it's not really typically going to be a very large increase. Expenditures, again, is based on the things we just talked about, so you're going to see some very large projects that drive that up. So as those expenditures go up, that's why you see that ending cash balance, the yellow line, go down. The one thing I would point out is I don't look at this trend and panic because these are, when you look at the general fund and salaries, that's kind of a trend line, whereas this is projects. So you can have one project that's really big one year, the following year that you may not have as big of a project, or if you have a budget issue, maybe that project comes out. So I wouldn't look at this as panic. But again, the bond issue will have a big part to play in what this looks like long term. That's all for me, if there's any questions.
Thank you. Open the floor for questions. Ms. Mabry.
So Chromebooks, just we provide those for all students just across the board?
Yes.
And is there a reason behind that? Obviously we need students to be able to do their work and stuff, but why couldn't we look at something like, obviously if a family is making $200,000 a year, they can buy their own kid a Chromebook. Couldn't we do like a voucher system? Obviously a lower income family, we could do a voucher and provide it for those families, but families that have the income, as a taxpayer, I really don't like the idea of just providing Chromebooks across the board.
Well, a lot, I don't know if I'm the right one to answer this or not, but so a lot of the textbooks, so a school district has to provide by law textbooks to all students free of charge. We're not allowed to.
Sure.
So a lot of textbook information now is now online. So students are accessing their textbooks through those Chromebooks.
Okay, so every school district in the state of Ohio provides their students Chromebooks?
No, I can't speak for every district. Some districts might not be using online curriculum as much. I don't know.
It has become more of the norm. A lot of districts provide like a technology fee to the students that can help offset the cost of those Chromebooks, but that is potential as well too.
Okay.
Any other questions? My question would be, how many of these projects there's a couple of these projects that could be rolled into the bond when we're looking at our bond levy, correct?
Yes.
And so that's a big decision, I guess, maybe we'll talk about that later tonight when we're talking about our facilities plan, so I'll just hold my questions for that.
That's a great question. And for example, the one was one that it's a large expenditure that just goes away because you'd be putting money into a building that's, an old building. But to your question, one specifically would be that lighting project. That's something that if there were money available in a bond issue, that would be an ideal project to do with the bond as opposed to the permanent improvement fund, which would then allow flexibility for other projects with that fund.
It may be beneficial to actually put forth and indicate on those out of the 3 years going forward, which ones could be subject to not needing because of facility management versus which ones we're still going to have to do. Marysville High School windows still probably going to have to do. We can change that. I think that would be helpful for us just to see.
Okay.
And then my last question is there intention to maybe translate some of this into a document that someone can access, like we have our financial forecast or something where the public can access?
Yes, and this information came off of that. You're not going to get everything that's in there on that document. They kind of play together, so you're going to see the number totals are on that forecast, but you don't see the detail of the individual projects on the forecast. That's in the presentation, if that makes sense.
It does. All right, well, I do appreciate the presentation. Thank you. Seeing no other questions, we're going to move on to board president report. That's me. So let me jump into here. So we do have our community coffees every Saturday or Sunday before our regular meeting. And so this past Sunday, myself and Ms. McIntosh were present. Just want to remind everyone of that opportunity to kind of check in with some Board of Education members, give some questions, and hopefully we connect you or provide some insights or answers. We wanted to go over some important dates. Obviously, it's April 16th. Tax Day is completed, so hopefully we're past that. But we do have some exciting dates within our district. The Spring Art Exhibits hosted by the Marysville Art League at the historic Houston House on 5th Street. Has the Creekview Show on April 25th, that's next Saturday, between 10 and 3. May 2nd is the Bunsold Art Show. And May 9th is the Marysville High School Art Show. I've personally have attended several years. It's a really great, you'll be impressed by some of the works of our student. On April 28th, we have the National Honor Society induction ceremony for Marysville High School and the Early College High School at 4:30 p.m. This isn't really for us to know, but prom is May 2nd. I won't be there. Maybe some of your kids will be there, so. Yeah, but hopefully all our students will have fun. May 14th, this will be of interest, is the high school band concert at 7 p.m. And then last day, which everyone's probably excited about, my kids included, is May 22nd. And then high school graduation is on the 23rd at 7 p.m. However, we ask families to set aside a window, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. for potential weather adjustments. There are some professional development opportunities with the Ohio School Board Association. On April 28th is addressing budget shortfalls, what districts can do. And then there's a 2-day conference, Board Leadership Institute here in Columbus. That's really kind of a good checkpoint. If you can't attend both days, that's fine. You can look at the agenda and see what you'll like to attend if you'd like to sign up. Next, we have For Together, a community conversation here at in this auditorium on Tuesday, April 21st at 7 p.m. This is hosted by the Ohio School Board Association. This town hall is open to everyone, including other school districts. So this is not like a Marysville event. We are just the host. This is the Ohio School Board Association's event. Mary Cleveland, the president of the Ohio School Board Association, will provide opening remarks. Then there will be a panel discussion titled "The Future of Public Education." Panelists will include our superintendent, Dr. Howard, Mark Ingalls, treasurer for Jonathan Alder, Dr. Libby Wallach, she's a board member from Olentangy School District, Tara Dyer, a board member from Marion City, a potential board member from Dublin, and audience members will be able to submit questions, and we encourage as many people to attend to ask questions about what your thoughts are on public education, the challenges that our school districts are navigating, and how to move forward together. And then we'll end the night with the CEO of OSBA, Tom Hosler, will provide closing remarks, and there will be some light refreshments. This is my personal commentary. There are many issues facing in our state that public school districts are navigating through, and we must continue to engage with and educate our community members. This town hall has two purposes. First is to hear from the public your thoughts, concerns, suggestions, successes regarding public education. The Ohio School Board Association is the trusted voice for public education. Yet this partnership is between our students, families, local taxpayers, and our state government. The dialogue is important. The second purpose is to help us inform the public about what public schools across the state are navigating so the public can understand and, if needed, share their experiences, expectations, and values with our state elected officials. I understand that people have busy lives, and it's a busy time of the year, many obligations, but if you and your friend or 2 friends, 10 friends can spare an hour or two, I believe that we will all be better informed and equipped to have conversations with our local and state elected officials and to address any potential questions or decisions at our ballot box in the future. I always end my report with our district's vision statement. It is, each child at Marysville schools will be challenged, prepared, and empowered through innovation, collaboration, and inspiration. Innovation to ignite their curiosity, collaboration to strengthen their capacity, inspiration to empower their confidence, and fortitude toward the future. And I wish that this meeting and our collective efforts help make this vision a reality for every student. Thank you. Next, we'll recognize Ms. Shepard for the Student Achievement Report.
Thank you. April is Earth Day, is April 22nd. So just to note about some of our really awesome students at Mill Valley Elementary, they just had another fundraiser to help raise money for their composting program. That's led by one of our amazing teachers, Abby Hensinger. She takes that teaching to the next level with some really experiential opportunities. And so the students at Mill Valley run the composting program for lunch every day, K4. So I think that's a pretty big achievement for our kids and for our community. Now for the theater department. So if you got to go to see Anything Goes this last weekend, hopefully you were blown away by the performance of all of our students on the stage and behind the scenes. So just to kind of look at the numbers, we sold 1,628 tickets, so that's a lot of people that got to see our students. There were 90 students, cast, crew, and pit, with over 120 total students involved. They rehearsed for over 175 hours, so they work really hard to put on that show. And we're also part of the Kappa Marquee program, and just today at 3 o'clock, they announced the nominations, and so we were up for 9 different awards, and we got 7 nominations. So we were nominated for, they were nominated for Backstage Excellence for the stage managers, Technical Execution, Johanna Olfesen, stage manager, Dance Execution, Best Direction for Brianna Bizzaro, Best Ensemble, and Best Musical Production, which means our students will be performing on the Ohio Theater stage on May 13th, which is very exciting. And then 4 of our students were nominated for Best Actor and Actress: Mason, Al, Cora Ballinger, Cece Langhouse, and Lucas Langhouse. So cheers to them. That's what I've got.
Thank you, Ms. Shepard. It was an amazing production. We're very blessed in our community to have such talented teachers and students. Mr. Keller, legislative report.
Yes, Mr. Ferguson and I attended the legislative conference last month. We were able to connect with other board members, talk to legislators, specifically Senator Reinke. I'm not sure we moved the needle a whole lot with some of our views in our current state, but it seemed as though the message you're hearing that there's lots of school districts in very similar situations as us. They gave a lot of House bill updates as well, and bills that may be gaining them some momentum into the coming year. There's a group out there in Ohio that's gaining some traction, and they're starting to post social media wise just some information about the school funding changes and how they're impacting school districts. We know for us, we lose $25 million over the next 5 years, and I'll probably be sharing more of that. That group's pretty new, but to me it appears to be a very trustworthy, unbiased view that's just sharing facts, which is always good. Some bill changes that are out there: the math intervention services, MIMPs are no longer required, the math intervention monitoring plans. And then they lowered the grade level requirement for Algebra 1 from 7th to 6th grade. That's House or Senate Bill 19. Senate Bill 326 is a computer science requirement, which made me have the question because it is asking that all high schools have at least one course for computer science. Do we have one, Dr. Howard? I should probably know that because our handbook, course book, has the first reading this evening. But I don't know if we have one or not, and it made me ask that question, or if it's something we would need to obtain.
Yeah, I had attended a legislative update too, and the thought was that might be outdated. So I had heard that they were pushing back on that as far as the coding, and the rationale there was because AI is becoming so prevalent.
Makes sense. Yep. Senate Bill 328, I'm always in favor of items like this. It established a return on investment initiative requiring middle school students to do career exploration plans. I believe from what I understand, we're in good shape with that should something like that pass. House Bill 711 proposes changes to minimum teacher salary schedule. And then House Bill 719 amends the governance for the State Teachers Retirement Board. Those are probably all the ones, as you all know, I put more in there than I ever read, but feel free and read up on your own. But those were some that I thought were worth noting tonight. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Keller. Moving on to approval of draft minutes. We have a recommendation to approve the draft minutes of March 19th regular meeting as submitted by our treasurer, Tom Johnson.
I'll motion.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, the motion is adopted. Next, we have a recommendation to approve the agreement for solid waste disposal and recycling collection services with Rumpke of Ohio.
I'll motion.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. Discussion, I'll turn it over to Dr. Howard or Treasurer Johnson.
I can hit that. I guess the impetus for us doing this request for proposals for waste management was there's been growth in the companies that are in our area providing service. So we did this request for proposals. We got 3 proposals returned to us. Rumpke was the lowest proposal, and we're going to save around $30,000 annually with this move, so that was great news. But kind of the win-win here is also our current provider really didn't have a recycling program. We did have some paper recycling, but that was actually going to be ending as well because that provider was no longer going to, a different provider, but they were going to stop providing that service as well. So Rumpke is actually one of the top recycling waste management providers in the state. So we're going to actually have a relatively more robust recycling program, and actually also we'll be able to help get students involved on the education side of that as well. So it was a win-win.
Thank you, Treasurer Johnson. Any other questions, comments?
As a longtime business customer of Rumpke, just watch the bills. They tend to creep up consistently.
Well, on that note, this is a 3-year contract. Are these prices locked in for 3 years, or they adjust annually?
I believe they're locked in. I'll have to look to make certain.
Okay.
So are mine.
All right, we'll keep a diligent eye there. Any other comments, questions?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about the addition of the recycling. If you can't tell, I really am into recycling and composting and the environment, thinking about things that benefit us now, like the cost savings, and then things that benefit us long-term, like the ability to recycle and reduce our impact on our ecosystem.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. The motion is adopted. Next, we have a recommendation to approve resolution for replacement theatrical lighting at Marysville High School. I'll turn over to Treasurer Johnson. Actually, I need a motion in a second. My apologies.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
It's been properly moved in second, and I'll recognize Dr. Howard.
All right, thank you, Board. A few items of note here. This would be a resolution authorizing the district to proceed. This is with Verigy. The pricing has been gone through its meta, so it's consortium pricing, receiving competitive bids for this. This has been an ongoing topic. I'm told the last 6 or 7 years it's been a permanent improvement request. It includes updating electric, so it's not just fixtures that are on the stage nearby. The whole controller for that is being replaced. It'll also allow lighting to be changed from the stage rather than just from the booth in the rear of the theater. The other thing that's nice about this is there could be some personnel savings on this as far as if you think about it, there are a lot of routine events that all require, lighting. It could be NHS ceremonies, things like that. There is a default setting on this that is much more intuitive. So a principal can come on there, push a button, and the lightings will go to a default setting as opposed to having to have a tech on site. That would be a nice feature. The thing to share, probably the most important, is that the current fixtures that are in place are original to the building when it was established in 1990. So it's 36 years old, and there are just no parts available to even fix these fixtures as they go down. So
Dr. Howard, hear you in terms of upgrading the system, obviously with the dual controls. On the topic of lighting, since we're talking about LED fixtures, would this be more efficient system as well? Or are there any regulations or I don't want to say restrictions, but implications on that as well?
Yeah, we had a conversation internally, even from a liability standpoint. The lighting, there's a lot more risk to the building with electricity, temperature, heat, right? Fire risk with those 36-year-old lights. LED is much more efficient. And I think it'll be a good test as we continue to consider LED projects throughout the district to see the impact that it would have on electricity for those.
So this will be an LED project as well?
It's through
theatrical lights?
Barrier. I think their
default.
as much as they can would be LED.
No, that's great. Thank you.
And this project commences after the school, between now and the beginning of the school year, correct?
Yes, they would try to do as much as they can before school returns in the 26-27 school year. Very likely that they may still be in that space, but it would certainly be before any fall productions, which would be the big thing here.
All right. Are there any other questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Ms. McIntosh?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Ms. Mabry?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes. The motion is adopted. Thank you. Now I have a recommendation to approve all treasurer items listed below or on your.
Motion?
I'll second.
It's been properly moved in second. Treasurer Johnson?
Just a couple things I'd point out. One, on the cash flow, you see that extremely large variance on real estate taxes. That's just a matter of timing. We actually received our final settlement about a week ago. So when you add that in, it's just a matter of advances were much lower this year compared to last year. With the final settlement, we're actually going to come in a little ahead of projections, probably around $500,000 or so. I'll have that for you next month with our 5-year forecast. And then also on the treasurer other items, I would highlight that there's a new fishing club that's going to be created at the high school. No cost to the district, but just additional opportunities for our students.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments?
One of my daughters is very pumped about the fishing club. She's joining, so I think I'd be in trouble if I didn't say thumbs up to that one.
Hearing no other questions or comments, roll call, please.
Ms. McIntosh?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Ms. Mabry?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes, the motion is carried. Next, we have a hearing for the 2027-2028 draft school calendar. I will first recognize Dr. Howard, and then we'll open the floor up for any comments from the public.
Yes, thank you, President Ferguson. A couple highlights regarding the calendar. It's the same number of contractual days for staff, the same number of student days. It's 171. We would continue to be well above state minimum number of hours of instruction, so not much change there. You'll see the calendar. It's attached in board docs when you account for a 2-week break, Christmas time, a week-long spring break, national holidays, and then start and end times, if they're pretty similar to the previous year. The reality is you would think there's a lot of tweaks you can make to a calendar, but there really isn't by the time you back out the national holidays and stuff. So this is a first reading, certainly open to suggestions and tweaks. I will tell you that as part of the process, there is a calendar committee as well. It takes input from the building staff members, and then the buildings will appoint individuals to serve on a district-wide committee, and this is what has been provided as first draft to be approved.
Thank you, Dr. Howard. And this is a public hearing, correct? Are there any members of the public that wish to speak to the calendar for next school year? Hearing none, seeing none, open for board member comments or questions. Ms. Shepherd?
I was just curious if there's any thought or room for moving some of the split weeks that have like 4 days each to have a few more less disrupted weeks and have a few more 5-day weeks with a couple of those. Like one of them's in October and then one's in February. The other ones are all related to holidays.
Yeah, I think we could certainly look at that. It would create more uniform five school day weeks if we were to do something like that.
And I guess, would you like to share the reason behind that recommendation?
Sorry, yeah. The thought is just to have those, like that consistency for the students, to have a full 5-day week. It doesn't change the days off for anybody. It doesn't change if they happen to be PD days or not. But rather than have 2 shorter weeks, we could just have one a little bit shorter week and then a long 5-day week, just to try and get us also more chunks of 5-day weeks in a row instead of a full week of school, a partial week, a couple full weeks, another partial week, when we can do that, just to have that consistency, not only for our students, but our staff and families too.
Yeah, and Ms. Shepherd, looking at that too, I was interested to see if that might condense a certain grading period, which I know the committee factors in as well, and that would not change, the number of days in a grading period if we were to do that, as I can see quickly.
Ms. McIntosh?
No, I was going to my question was going to be, is there a reason why you'd want to have the 4 weeks or 4-day weeks, those two? But I think you answered my question, and appreciate looking into that to see it for the continuity of students and families.
I know school calendars are interesting topics. When I first was on the board, there's like Wednesdays, you'll have off, or just kind of random days throughout the year. And I know Ms. Shepherd, as a community member, came and participated in our hearing. Was it last year or 2 years ago? I don't know.
2 or 3.
And there was really some really good data. And I personally like the experience this last school year of maybe there's more longer weekends and less of those middle of the week days off. And so I still am terrible at knowing when school's off, but that's my own parenting issue. So I need to work on that. Any other questions?
This current calendar is the one that was impacted when I came that time, like a few years ago, and made the suggestion. Yeah. So.
All right, hearing none, that completes the hearing. Thank you. Now we have these. We have a recommendation to approve the superintendent action items.
Motioned.
I'll second.
It's been properly moved in second. Dr. Howard?
Okay, yes, thank you, Board. Board, we do have our HR items that are fairly standard there. I do want to share with you, we have 2 individuals, Tim Canali, principal at Creekview. His formal retirement notice is there, as well as Joel Canterbury, one of our teachers at Creekview as well. And I thought I would just remind you guys, here in May in this district, we honor our retirees, so we'll have a recognition for them next month. So we wish them all the best. As far as the volunteer listings. There's 31 individuals on there, and if I can backtrack real fast, under the HR items, there are teacher contracts that are on there for the 26-27 school year. Those would be individuals that had contracts or set to expire at the end of this year. We have approval of coursework description and fees for Bunsold Middle School. There is one impracticality of transportation that is listed. One of the things I appreciate about the FFA is they're such good planners. There are 7 out of the 8 trips listed are FFA, but many of them are well into the next school year. So they would like to give the board notice of those and seek your approval on those too. But happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Dr. Howard. Are there any questions from board members? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Ms. McIntosh?
Yes.
Ms. Shepherd?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Ms. Mabry?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes, the motion is approved. Next is comments and questions from board members. I'll begin with Ms. McIntosh, and then we'll go to Ms. Shepherd after that.
Overall, thank you, especially to our principals from the Marysville High School and the ECHS. I think navigating high school curriculums and whether you take AP or college education and what's the differences and all of that, but is really commendable. I also love to see the fact that we are giving students different pathways. I had an opportunity to spend some time with the ECHS and do mock interviews with some of them, and I was very pleasantly not surprised, but the quality of their resumes, the quality of their answers, and their preparedness was great to see, and we gave some really good feedback. In terms of the percentages that you're seeing of men to women ratio in data and technology, if there's anything that we can do in that space, also can get you into contact with some different groups that might be able to help that space, even people of color in the technology and education, or technology and data spaces. The last thing I will say, Dr. Howard, I saw that you were out on the track adjusting hurdles last week. I had an opportunity to spend some time, and Mr. Keller and I were on the Bunswold track with some different meets and got to see our students perform at those meets. I was with the Bunswold team this Tuesday as well. So really good performance, great team and sportsmanship, and I will say I saw quite a few of our Marysville athletes helping and assisting other schools, whether that be helping them set their blocks, hold their blocks, and overall just really good participation. So great kudos to them.
I had the opportunity to go to the Creekview Spring Carnival, which was a lot of fun. Not only did I get to sneak a peek at my nephew while I was there, but it was really huge shout out to Stephanie Betts and all the hard work she puts into that carnival. She organizes it, she comes up with the games, she built the games. There were all these really cool games built from different wooden structures, and she's built them all over the years, and she said she likes to roll out a new one every year or two. They were having a lot of fun, and it was really neat to watch that. I also just want to it feels like it's been a long time ago, but it was just last May that we were passing our levy, and so I'm extremely grateful to everyone who worked on that effort and who showed up to vote for that, because without it, we wouldn't have had this award-nominated performance that we just got to witness this past weekend. So huge thank you again for that last year, for all the things we got to have this year because of it.
I heard it. The first sign of the end of the year somewhere I was at, I think it may have been a track meet, someone gave the number of days in school left. It was 30-some. It sounds about accurate. But it's very nice to see the change in weather, see students outside for recess at those buildings that have it, and those sports that are outside participating there too. Definitely great to see our kids in that way. That's it.
I don't have much, just glad to be back. I was gone for a couple months, and I did watch the meeting last month remotely, but thanks to the board for carrying the torch while I was gone, and I'm excited to be back and get out in the community and get to some of the school activities. And just as a reminder, as the primaries come up, make sure you get out there and vote. That's very important. We have a lot of people running in our community, so make sure that you voice your, your opinions and get out there and vote.
Thank you. My closing remarks, I had a chance to, Dr. Howard and I guess, opened up the softball and baseball fields. So that was a decision that we made, an investment along with Memorial Health and the Diamond Booster Club together to improve the turf of those facilities. And it seemed like all the athletes were excited to play. And it was a nice ceremony. Second, we had a good night with the FFA, their annual celebration with the FFA organization here, kind of their passing of the leadership torch as well. And it's just a very impressive group. Obviously, they're here tonight as well. Many of their leadership are here tonight to recognize our previous board president, Bill Keck. And so I just wanted to highlight those two groups. And it looks like we're almost over. The school year's almost up, and we have one more meeting before graduation, and then we'll get to kind of celebrate all of our graduates this year at the Impact Stadium. That concludes my comments. Are there any other comments? If not, we have a recommendation to go into executive session for the purpose of ORC 121.22 Golf 1. To consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual, unless the employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual requests a public hearing by Division Golf 1, Section 121.22 of the revised code. Do we have a motion?
Motioned.
I'll second.
It's been properly moved and second. Under discussion, we will relocate.
Yes, we'll need to the offices down the hallway.
Okay. And then after executive session, there's no formal action that will take place coming out of executive session. We will come back in here for a special meeting?
Correct.
Okay, so we will have an executive session. I'm not sure what the timing of that will be, but we'll be back in here for a special meeting to discuss our upcoming facilities plan and kind of catch everyone up on board. So we'll be back here. We'll spend some time, I guess, to refresh as we go back. And then how much time, if there's anyone interested in coming back for our special meeting for the facilities, how much time do you think we'll need to budget or give them? I'm thinking 30 minutes, but I'm not sure if that's too much.
30 minutes.
Okay. I hope that helps everyone who's looking to be here for our second meeting. So we have a motion. It's been properly moved in second. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. We are now in executive session at 7:53. And for everyone who's here tonight, thank you for your staying and your attendance. We appreciate seeing you all.